How many of you have grown up with a nickname? Did any of you maybe have a nickname that was perhaps weight related? Well, I grew up with a nickname Pork Chop. And Pork Chop has entered back and forth into my life many, many times. As a small baby, Pork Chop was really healthy, thick, chunky legs, a giddy little baby, and all the pictures of Pork Chop are so happy. Move on throughout childhood, on to age 7. Pork Chop was a little bit slower than the rest of the kids. Pork Chop was kind of homely. And Pork Chop's mom made these wonderful, huge, big American meals. Pork Chop loves those meals a lot. At age 12, puberty set in, and Pork Chop grew. Pork Chop had in her head that she was a lot bigger than the other kids, and the other children's mothers would tell Pork Chop that she couldn't borrow her friend's stretch pants because she'd stretch them out, and that stuck with Pork Chop. At age 15, Pork Chop felt so large that she never wore any dresses that showed anything below, everything was long length, no shorts. Pork Chop didn't wear bathing suits. And Pork Chop was only about 150 pounds and 5 foot 6 inches tall. To American standards, that's actually just right on target. But Pork Chop did a lot of comparing with her friends. At age 18, in high school, Pork Chop became pregnant. And we all know what happens with pregnancy. Pork Chop went from being 150 pounds to 180 pounds. But luckily, with being young, the weight fell off pretty quickly. But Pork Chop never got back down to that 150 pound mark. At age 23, Pork Chop was pregnant again and went through the whole roller coaster of weight and got up to 230 pounds at the end of the pregnancy. And lost that a little bit slower than the time before, but the weight never completely came off. Pork Chop stayed right around 200 pounds. At age 25, Pork Chop was feeling very down on herself. And she went into the doctor and said, "Hey, what can you do for me?" And the doctor said, "Here you go. Here's a medication called phentermine." Phentermine is essentially a methamphetamine, which keeps us from eating and keeps a constant feeling of fullness and having a lot of energy. Pork Chop got down to 170 pounds and felt like she was in the best shape of her life. And slowly, weight started to come back on after a couple of years, and Pork Chop found herself to be pregnant once more. At age 32, Pork Chop was 250 pounds. And that's how much she weighed at the end of her 3rd pregnancy. But at this point, there was no baby in her stomach. It was all just gained weight. This would have been November of 2012. I decided at that point to kick Pork Chop out of my life. I decided to take my health back and regain my sense of who I am and what I can do. I killed Pork Chop. I now weigh 219 pounds, so I've lost close to 30 pounds since November by making smart choices and by deciding that a nickname does not define who I am. I define who I am. Thank you.